Good morning. My name is Shelia Varney, and as he said, I'm from Southside right here in Pike County. This is my third year. I've been blessed to receive this grant for 3 years. And the very first year, I was blessed enough to also be a STEM fellow. So I was able to purchase, that year, it was about the relationship between plants and animals. And so I was able to purchase quite a few materials plus some iPads. And so I went the technology route that year. Last year, I was actually inspired by Miss Cornett over here. The first year, she did some things with Osmo. So I was inspired by her, since I had those 3 iPads, to purchase another iPad and do some effective teaching or engagement practices with the Osmo. So that went over great, too. This year, I was inspired back in January, sometime between January and May. A lady named Kim Sargent came to our school and introduced us to the QFT, which is the question formulation technique. And it's actually a high school piece, and they've modified it for middle school, and we're starting to modify it for kindergarten, all the way down to kindergarten in our school. And I really wanted to do something with the QFT process with kindergarten because I saw such a change in my children when just the little bit that I used it last year. And we also purchased, I think for the first time, I think Alice told me in 20 years, we got a new curriculum. I've been teaching 16 years in kindergarten. I've been teaching for 23 years, but 16 years in kindergarten, and I know that when I arrived at Southside, I was still using the same reading curriculum for 16 years. So we purchased a new by Engage New York. It's actually a wonderful, wonderful reading curriculum. So I wanted to incorporate QFT with that and get some more materials, like resource materials, to support it. If you're not familiar with QFT, it's the question formulation technique. And the whole thing is based on the idea, Becker said that, kindergartners don't ask the right questions about their learning. Yeah, they're really good at asking you, why does your hair look that way, Miss Varney? Or they're really good at saying things like, why are you making that face at me, Miss Varney? But about their own learning. So it's really to teach them how to ask better questions. And it's a great, simple technique that you can incorporate in your classroom. Of course, it's modified from what the high school uses. And so you'll see if you look at my brochure, on the inside front cover, or on the inside of the cover, question formulation technique is there. And that's just the basic outline. Of course, it's modified for kindergarten. We all know they're not writing yet. They're writing their name, and they're writing a few words right now. But we're going to build up to that, of course. But my guiding question was, how will the use of QFT into the core knowledge curriculum, which that's our new Engage New York, affect the ability to generate questions about their own learning? So I've already done my pre-assessment, and I did it with my class with 21 kindergartners, and I went into a neighboring class of 21 kindergartners where I know they won't be exposed to the QFT process. And sure enough, I showed them a prompt, I showed them a picture, and it was a wiggly worm picture, and it had a worm, and had all the tunnels, and I really wish I'd brought the book today. I apologize I didn't. And I said, ask me everything you can think of about this picture. You believe it or not, with 5-year-olds, I got a lot of this, and I got a lot of, I don't know. I got a few, is that a worm? Or is that dirt? I got a couple, I got 2 in each classroom, 2 kids that asked a couple of questions. The rest of them, it was, I don't know, or what is that? It really wasn't, and that's as much as I could get out of them. But most of them just looked at me and kind of went, yeah. So it's almost like when you give them a prompt, they're almost intimidated, where they naturally ask questions, but it doesn't come as naturally about their own learning. So that's what I'm hoping to see, and I got almost identical results in my classroom and that classroom. So I'm hoping that at the end, when I do my post-test, that using the rubric, that I'll realize that hopefully this QFT has made an impression on the kindergartners, and they'll be able to ask more questions. And you'll see in the middle of my brochure, those are the materials that I purchased. And the QFT is you don't have to purchase a QFT. If you don't Google QFT, because you get quantum theory. Yeah, you get that, and you get another one, the slang, the internet slang, something about facts, quoted facts, something. So make sure you Google question formulation technique. But the book, the one teacher resource that I did purchase out of this, everything else is for the kids, is Make Just One Change by Dan Rothstein. And I was privileged enough to meet him last spring. He actually came into my classroom and watched my children do the QFT process. And he just really inspired me to take this a little further and see if we can't bring it down to a kindergarten level. And I just hope to see some great results and with a real simple thing. But are there any questions? All right, thank you.